let's move on. So let's talk about the 2020 MLB draft date and how long we think it's going to be. So MLB, I guess they decided that it's going to happen sometime in July. It was originally supposed to be June.
Yeah, it's always the second week of June.
Right. So the draft's been pushed to July, and I think they're also going to do. I don't know if this is set in stone, but they're supposed to do a virtual draft, basically kind of like the NFL.
I think July might be a little too quick, but I don't know. Like,
yeah, you're right.
Because you think about it, where like the NFL did the virtual draft, they had time because their college players had all season.
Okay.
These players between high school and college didn't have a season at all really to play. They had a couple games.
A whole extra year.
So you can see how well like certain people did. Like, are they going to be able to work people out?
Right. So I know that
that's what I was thinking. September would probably been a better.
Would have been. For sure, especially the way season's going.
Yeah.
No sense in rushing them. They're not going to give them straight up. Right, you're right. They should take this slowly. And also, they didn't have any time to figure this out. And I know the MLB draft isn't like the NFL draft. It doesn't get that much crowd. Not everybody's watching it. But this year could be different because they're only – I'm just saying, like, the MLB draft, because they're doing it so quickly, like you said, they don't have much time to figure things out. And – who knows what's going on in the world? This could be interesting, especially because they shortened it to 5 rounds. So that changes the game.
Yeah, that's reported here in 5 rounds, which I think it's more so like we're hearing about the whole minor league system.
Yeah.
They're talking about shrinking it, so there's no need for what was before, like 30 rounds, I think, or something like that. So if we're going to shorten minor leagues, there's no reason for that many rounds.
I think they're shortening it to, 21 or something like that after this? 20. It's in the 20s, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, because you think about how MLB wants it. They want only 3 teams per team. You're talking, what were we talking about? 90 minor league teams total, and you got to think about it. There's not that many. There's no rookie league. There's no short season. Most likely, there's no 2 upper A, lower A. Like, if this comes to fruition, I don't see really the draft being that much longer. Like, I think 10 rounds might be the future, maybe.
That would be crazy. So if they're only going to have 10-round drafts, so I mean, there's still a lot of good talent out there because you see how many talented players are coming out later in the draft. So what does that mean for other players? Are they going to go play overseas, or are we going to have are they going to do like what they do with the G League and start giving people contracts early and not even drafting them?
I think what this is going to fruition or tuition possibly where you don't probably see a lot of high school players going into the draft no more, getting drafted. Because if you don't let them go, or young international players being signed, because those can be spots too.
Yeah.
You start all being the rookie league and have to slowly work your way up because you'll be 17 out of high school. This is more so where you might have to go to college now, which more people are going to now instead of being drafted at high school.
But see, the way the future's going, if they want to save the game, all the kids are dreaming about getting drafted earlier and earlier. Just like I said, the G League started to pay people $300,000. They're taking 5-star recruits from going to college to go join the G League.
Yes.
The baseball cannot go backwards. They have to go forward because everybody's going to be doing the same thing sooner or later. And they're even starting to, and now the NCAA sees what's happening with the G League. They're on the train to say, hey, we're going to let you guys get paid for your likeness and all this other stuff, endorsements, blah,
deals,
blah, blah. MLB cannot take a step back.
I think more so with I understand because they believe that the 3-team system, that the big team will put more money into them. So the facilities might be better, training and stuff like that. But the talent-wise, it's going to be scarce because then you're going to do I want to take these 5 international players, see what will become of them? You might only take 1 or 2 because you don't have the spots. Or someone you don't know, development might be that, that shining rock that you might develop in a year and you can't take a chance because you don't have a roster spot. It's going to get dicey if it does come true that they only get in 3 teams.
Well, like you said, only time will tell. We will see how this proceeds. But the one thing we do know for sure is that the Tigers are on the clock.
Yeah. And then what? I think it's Orioles. So it's, but it's, I bet it's even harder to do a pick this year, especially the top pick.
Yeah.
Because not like you watched the World, I don't know the World Baseball, but the College World Series.
Well, I mean, they have plenty of time to go backwards and watch it, but that doesn't mean anything about today's game.
That's someone that...
Right, that's a whole year ago.
That had especially if you had a guy who had a year last year.
And
then started the couple games that he did get to play and was having a great stats, and then
Right.
season gets
It's hard to tell, especially like you said,
Especially for
because most
season-
people who had good seasons got drafted.
And then for the seniors, like, okay, so if they don't get drafted, they go back next year and play because they can.
Yeah, that.
Or they're like someone like they draft them like late and like you have
Well,
decision.
we need to keep a close eye on this draft this draft class, at least the first round or two.
Yeah.
And we got to follow these guys, see what happens, because this is interesting.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really. This is a weird situation.
Yeah, especially for Tigers and like Orioles they're rebuilding, which they're almost about there. They got a lot of young talent, and it's like, man, if you miss
5 rounds, you're shorting it to 5 rounds. I mean,
if you miss this year,
that's tight.
God, if you imagine if you miss like a Mike Trout with the first pick and it ends up going like 10th because you didn't have time to evaluate this.
Well, think of how many diamonds in the rough some of these guys might go undrafted and get signed for pennies on the dollar, and then become guys you couldn't even expect. We could see a future Hall of Famer not get drafted this year, and end up on a team. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could be, who knows?
And that's the thing that can start happening in the future if it does go to 10 whatever, because I think Piazza was
64th round. I think he was down there.
That's the lowest drafted because there has been a.
And what did I tell you? Pujols got drafted like 400 and something overall.
So
he won't even be drafted this year.
Yeah. A lot of players, if you think about it like that. But yeah, so we'll see what MLB do. Of course, between when they go do the draft, how many for sure, and then with the whole minor league system, what's going on. So